Most people never learn how to actually learn in their entire life. They rely on passive review, not knowing that this method is completely opposite to how your brain functions. No new pathways form, and nothing stays in your memory long term. This is day 6 of leveling up your brain. Passive review is any method where information flows in without forcing it back out. Reading, highlighting, or summarizing. This way you use recognition memory, but recognition memory doesn't get encoded in new pathways. What does is active recall, closing the book, and producing the information from memory. This way you're training the exact pathways you need when it's time to recall the information in real life. Studies show active recall creates 50 to 300% better retention, but most people avoid it because it exposes how little they actually retained. Your brain only builds strong pathways for information you struggle to retrieve. Rereading uses recognition memory. It's weak and doesn't transfer to real life. Forcing retrieval, even when you fail, activates the exact pathways you need. The struggle creates the trigger to actually learn. And remember, if it feels easy, you're not learning. You're not lazy. You're not unmotivated. You're not broken. Your brain is simply addicted to thinking instead of doing. Every time you plan, analyze, or prepare, your brain gets a reward, the same reward it would get from actually completing the task. So it keeps you trapped in your head forever, while your life stays exactly the same. This is day 7 of leveling up your brain. When you vividly imagine achieving a goal, your brain releases dopamine, the same reward chemical it releases when you actually achieve it. It doesn't clearly distinguish between imagined success and real success. Both activate the reward circuitry. Both feel satisfying. And once your brain gets the reward, it loses the drive to chase it. You feel like you've already won. So why struggle? That's why you need to kill the gap between thinking and doing. Set a rule. The maximum time between having an idea and taking the first action is 5 minutes. Not the perfect action. Any action. Send the message. Open the document. Lace up the shoes. Your brain can't simulate what's already in motion. Once you start, the mental movie stops, and you're forced into reality where actual progress lives. Everyone you follow, everyone you respect and admire, has one secret in common, a secret that exploits your psychology, leaving you with no choice but to admire, trust, and follow their lead. I'm going to expose that secret and show you exactly how to use it for yourself. This is day 8 of leveling up your brain. What you're responding to isn't their talent. It's not confidence, looks, or intelligence. It's resilience. Biologically, we are wired to trust and follow those who have survived visible struggle without breaking. It's an ancient instinct. In a dangerous world, following the one who's already been tested was a survival advantage. That's why perfect people don't inspire loyalty. They create distance. But someone who has clearly suffered and still projects strength triggers a different emotional response: safety, reliability, and power. But this only works if the suffering looks conquered. If the pain is still active, it signals weakness. If it's mastered, it signals power. Let the world see your scars, because scars don't make you look weak. They make you look dangerous. And in a world full of people pretending to be strong, the one who's visibly unbroken becomes the one they trust. The best thing you can do if you instantly want to lose all satisfaction, fun, and happiness in your hobby, your passion, or even your work is to get money, likes, or attention for it. Every extrinsic reward erases all motivation to continue. This is day 9 of leveling up your brain. Intrinsic motivation comes from internal satisfaction. You do it because the act itself fulfills you. Extrinsic motivation comes from outside validation. The first engages the ventral striatum and prefrontal cortex, areas associated with long-term satisfaction and meaning. The second activates the nucleus accumbens, your brain's reward prediction center that craves instant gratification. But when you mix them, extrinsic always wins. The brain is wired to prioritize immediate, tangible rewards over abstract, internal ones. So when you introduce external rewards to something you love, your dopamine system stops firing for the activity itself and starts firing for the reward. Once that replacement happens, you've chemically conditioned yourself to need external validation just to keep doing it. If you want to keep intrinsic motivation, you need to switch the focus from the outcome to the process. Another important point is to create reward-free zones where you engage in your passion with zero expectation of payment, recognition, or progress tracking. You always mess things up right before it finally starts working. You ghost opportunities, miss deadlines, pick fights, or don't go on that date, right when success is within reach. That's not bad luck, mood, or incompetence. It's an old mechanism of the brain, blocking any chances of success. This is day 10 of leveling up your brain. Your subconscious has a hidden ceiling for how much success, happiness, or love you're allowed to have. The second you cross that invisible line, your amygdala, your brain's fear center, starts firing like you're in actual danger. There is no real threat. But you're becoming someone your brain doesn't recognize. It feels like it's too much, not really you, or not what you want, but in reality, it is just cognitive dissonance. Your brain sees two conflicting realities: who you've always been and who you're becoming. One is safe, the other is a threat to your entire sense of self. So your brain does what it's designed to do. It eliminates the threat, even if that threat is your own success. You can imagine it as a thermostat. Above a certain point, the alarm goes off. What you need to do is to increase the threshold. You have to make clear to yourself that you are deserving of everything, that you are allowed to be the happiest, the most loved, and the most successful person in the world. Make it part of your identity. Otherwise, your own brain will always keep you small. Your brain can operate at 10 times normal capacity. No drugs, just flow state. But the way you currently work guarantees you'll never reach it. Here's what's blocking you, and how to remove every obstacle in 3 steps. This is day 11 of leveling up your brain. Flow state is when your prefrontal cortex temporarily shuts down, a process called transient hypofrontality. Your inner critic disappears, time distortion kicks in, and you enter effortless concentration. Studies show you're 500% more productive in flow, but it has strict entry requirements. The task must be 4% harder than your current skill level. Not too easy to bore you, not too hard to stress you. That's the Goldilocks zone, where your brain releases dopamine, norepinephrine, and endorphins. But most people never enter flow because they violate the 3 non-negotiables. Here's how to trigger it. First, set one specific goal for the session. Not work on my project, but complete section 3 of the report. Second, eliminate every distraction. Phone in another room, social media blocked, door closed. Flow needs 15 to 20 minutes of uninterrupted focus to activate. One notification resets the clock. Third, create immediate feedback. Track word count, completed tasks, or code tests in real time. Your brain needs to see progress as it happens. Do this, and flow becomes automatic. And if you want to learn how to master your mind, check out the link in my bio. Your brain is wired to automatically sabotage all of your goals, but one simple switch forces it to comply to everything you want it to do, no matter how hard it is. This is day 12 of leveling up your brain. Every time you set a goal, you're asking your brain to make a future decision based on current motivation. But motivation fluctuates. It's controlled by hormones, which rise and fall based on sleep, stress, and 1,000 other variables. So when motivation is low, you stop caring about your goals. Rules don't have that problem. A rule is a pre-committed decision that removes all variables. I don't eat sugar is stronger than I want to lose 10 pounds, because the goal still lets you negotiate. The rule doesn't. Neurologically, rules activate your dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for top-down control and long-term planning. It overrides the limbic system, your emotional brain, that craves immediate gratification and sabotages your goals. Rules shift control to the rational brain, making compliance automatic. That's why you need to create rules for all your goals. Don't let your hormones and emotions decide to destroy your ambitions, and start creating clear rules that lead you to reaching all your goals. And if you want to learn how to master your mind, check out the link in my bio. Your brain can only hold 4 pieces of information at the same time. Right now, you're trying to juggle 47. That's why you forget what you were doing, why you can't focus, and why procrastination kicks in. And here is what you need to change to reduce this cognitive load. This is day 13 of leveling up your brain. Your working memory can only hold about 4 chunks of information at once. This is called cognitive load, and when you exceed it, your performance collapses. Think of it like RAM in a computer. Every open task, unfinished decision, or mental reminder takes up space. When all 4 slots are full, your brain can't take in anything new. It starts dropping information, making errors, and slowing down. Most people live in permanent cognitive overload. They're trying to track dozens of tasks, unresolved problems, social obligations, and future worries all at once, not being able to do even one of these things good. To change that, first, close all open loops. Every unfinished task, unanswered message, or pending decision is draining your working memory. Finish it, delete it, or schedule it. Get it out of your head. Second, externalize everything. Your brain isn't a storage system, it's a processing system. Write down tasks, ideas, and reminders instead of trying to remember them. The second it's written, your brain releases that slot. And third, single task ruthlessly. One thing at a time, completed fully before moving to the next. Every context switch reloads your working memory and costs you focus. And if you want to learn how to master your mind, check out the link in my bio. If you eat McDonald's 3 times a day and never exercise, you wouldn't expect abs and muscle, but you're doing the exact equivalent to your brain and wondering why you feel depressed, unmotivated, and can't focus. That's why you need to stop these 4 things immediately. This is day 14 of leveling up your brain. Your body and mind are one system. Garbage food, no sleep, 0 movement, and your brain can't function. Inflammation spikes, hormones crash, and oxygen drops. Your prefrontal cortex shuts down, so fix your body or your mind stays broken. Point 2. Constant dopamine. Social media, notifications, endless scrolling. Every hit spikes dopamine, but your brain adapts by killing receptors. Normal life becomes boring. Corn is even worse. It doesn't just flood dopamine, it rewires your sexual circuitry, creates compulsion, and destroys real satisfaction. The more you consume, the less everything else matters. Point 3. 0 mental challenges. Your brain atrophies without resistance. You become soft, reactive, and incapable of focus. Point 4. Drama, outrage, political hatred, trash TV, it all programs your brain for negativity. You consume conflict and chaos daily, then wonder why you're anxious and angry. Your environment shapes your mind. Feed it poison, become poisoned. Stop all four, your brain will rebuild itself. And if you want to learn how to master your mind, check out the link in my bio. The greatest samurai in history, who never lost a single battle in his life, wrote a book on his deathbed. In it, he revealed the 5 mental principles that made him unbeatable. 400 years later, there's still the blueprint for mental domination, and you've never heard of them. This is day 15 of leveling up your brain. The Book of 5 Rings is Musashi's framework for mastery, divided into 5 mental layers. The ground ring is your foundation, your habits, systems, and environment. This is where discipline starts. The water ring is adaptability. Water conforms to any shape. Your thinking must be the same, flexible, reactive, and never rigid. The fire ring is aggression and intensity. When you need to act, never hesitate. Strike with full intensity. Fire doesn't hesitate. It just burns. Your execution must be the same. The wind ring is external awareness. You must understand not just your own mind, but how others think, operate, what strategies they use, or what weaknesses they have. You can't dominate what you don't understand. The void ring is transcendence. When you reach flow state and everything becomes automatic. Musashi used these 5 rings to become one of the most dangerous warriors in history, and it all started in his mind. Build these 5 rings too, and your mind becomes a weapon. And if you want to learn how to master your mind, check out the link in my bio.